So welcome to the future. Smart home devices can make your life more convenient, secure, and fun. But with so many choices, it can be hard to know where to start. But we've got you covered. First, we're going to explore some gadgets to help make your life more convenient. So let's get to it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the convenience part of smart homes. And those are, I think, some of the easiest ways you can get started and some of the most effective ways of creating that perfect smart home that adds a ton of value to the smart home environment. One of the biggest things is smart lights. And one of the biggest makers of smart lights is Philips Hue. Now, my house, I have a ton of Philips Hue bulbs. I think last I checked was 80 some odd smart bulbs. Yeah, that's a lot. But I'm sure that I have a fraction of what some other people have. But I have almost every room with some form of smart light in it. And I can tell you that the Philips Hue bulbs, they work extremely well. They are probably one of the most expensive smart bulbs you can get, but their functionality and their ease of use to me is worth the price. Now, you can also have manufacturers like Govee. They have some really great lights. I've actually used some here in my office area, and they are easy to set up. The colors are great, and they perform really well with the Wi-Fi because they don't work off the same network protocol that Philips Hue does, which can actually add convenience to you because with Philips Hue, you have to have a hub. They do have some Bluetooth lights, but to me, they just don't perform as well. So if you really want the true Philips Hue experience, you have to have a hub, which gives you much more capabilities. However, that's one more device that you have to have on your network that you have to control and manage and maintain, as opposed to lights like Govee lights that are Wi-Fi. So you just basically connect them to the Wi-Fi and they're synchronized throughout the house via that Wi-Fi. So you don't have to worry about, how close they are together or how close they are to the hub. It doesn't really matter. As long as you have a strong wireless signal in your home, they're going to work. And they actually look really good and they perform really well. So that's one option to take a look at. One other smart device that adds a ton of convenience and value is a smart plug. And this is going to allow you to take some of your dumb lights and to make them smart by just simply using a smart plug that you can control via an app or Google Home or Alexa. And you can basically have the on-off feature. Obviously, you can't do dimming with a smart plug. It's just for turning on and off remotely and with voice commands and things like that. But it does allow you to basically turn anything that you plug into the wall into a smart device that you can add to voice commands. You can add to specific routines that they come on and off based on the settings you have. So that's another huge value proposition for the smart home. Govee makes smart plugs. Casa makes smart plugs. There's a ton of manufacturers that actually make the smart plugs. I have found the Casa devices to be extremely reliable. They just work. And again, that's what you want. You want ease of setup, and you want it to just work where you don't have to go back and keep, reconnecting it or redoing the settings or whatever the case may be. So, and these are it. The Casa ones, to me, they just work fantastic. So the next thing we're going to talk about is monitoring devices. And this is extremely important, and it kind of goes along with security, but you don't necessarily have to have a security system to have a monitoring device. You have devices such as the Google Nest doorbell, the Ring video doorbell, and these allow you to monitor your front door for people who are dropping off packages. Maybe someone's ringing your doorbell at a time of day or night that seems a little odd and you want to see who it is before you open it. It can add a lot of peace of mind for your family members who maybe are a little leery if someone else is not home about answering the door. For example, my wife, if I'm not home, she won't answer the door for a stranger that she doesn't know. Doesn't matter who it is. She doesn't want to get stuck talking to one of these marketing people that walk around the neighborhood, which is irritating. I don't like to do it either. So anyways, she likes to be able to see who's ringing the doorbell. And when you ring the doorbell, I know with the Google doorbell, and I believe it's the same with the Ring and other manufacturers, it can display on your smart displays in your home or a smart TV in your home. So you don't necessarily have to get up to a specific device. You can also see it on your phone. So it adds a lot of convenience. And it adds, that extra layer of security to have those monitoring devices in place. The other aspect of monitoring devices would be cameras. So you have your indoor and outdoor cameras. Some cameras can be used both indoor and outdoor. For example, the Google Nest indoor-outdoor camera, it's actually, they offer one that's battery and one that's plugged in. Now, the one that's battery, you can also keep it plugged in if you want to, if you have a receptacle close enough to where you can plug the adapter in, but it doesn't have to be. So, for example, I have one of the indoor-outdoor battery cameras on my back patio, and it is not plugged in. And I get probably, 3 or 4 months out of that battery. So it's pretty good. I also have one at my wife's office, and it's indoors, it's not outdoors. But because of the amount of traffic her office gets, I get like 2 weeks out of that battery, which is kind of irritating. So I got to figure out exactly how I can run some power or get an extension cord or something so I can keep that camera plugged in. But the camera itself works great. I mean, the audio, the video is fantastic, and it has a great field of view. So it's definitely something that works well. It's just the battery side of things is a little annoying when you only get 2 weeks. I have another Google Nest indoor camera. It's not to be used outdoors. It's strictly inside, and it is only a plug-in device where you have to have a receptacle to plug it in. It's not battery operated. It's less expensive, but it gives you just as much functionality as far as the video and audio is concerned. And you can pretty much mount it anywhere you want as long as you get power to it. So I have a couple of those mounted in the house. We have a room that's it's a baby's room for our grandchildren. When they come over, that's where they sleep. And so we want to be able to monitor what's going on. We have some really small, some as small as 3 weeks. So we want to see what's going on. So they work out great, and we love it. There's a lot of other manufacturers that have these indoor-outdoor cameras. So really you just want to look and see what works best for, 1, your budget, 2, your environment, and 3, what you're trying to achieve. One thing I would definitely keep in mind though is, like, for example, if you're already using Google devices and you already have Google Home hubs and you're kind of already embedded in that ecosystem, the Google cameras are just a great way to go. I choose to have the subscription, and I get, a lot of online recording time, and there's some other features that come along with that. I'll make sure and link all that information in the description, so you can see the camera and the subscription cost and things like that. But I know Alexa and some other things, they obviously have some of their own cameras. So you want to, again, just do some research and pick one that's right for you. You almost can't go wrong. Most of the cameras are as functional as another. It's just whatever fits your need. So do a little research and then, pick the one that you think is going to fit. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. I'll be happy to answer any questions I can for you. Next is security devices. So number 3 on our top 5 is security. And that's going to include things like your door locks. It's going to include, like for my home, I utilize garage door openers that can be controlled remotely. And this is where security systems will come into play as well, because there are companies that do whole home type security that's part of the smart ecosystem. So one of the first things about security is smart locks. And there's, again, several manufacturers which make some great smart locks. I'm just going to mention a couple. One is Yale. Also, MyQ I believe they use the Yale product, but they have one that's kind of designated for their ecosystem. And I actually use a MyQ smart lock in my garage, and then I use the MyQ video keypad on the outside of the garage for monitoring. And it also has a security code that you can use for entry and to close it as well. But one of the things that allows me to do is maintain security in my home and use the Amazon in-garage delivery, which is awesome. Because of course, next week, we're going to have like a whole week worth of rain. So if I have to do any Amazon ordering, I'm going to look to use the in-garage delivery. So when they bring the package, it's not going to get soaking wet. We had one not too long ago that got delivered on the front porch, and the box was like disintegrated because it rained all day. Fortunately, what was in it was not something that could get damaged by the rain, but it just makes it messy and inconvenient. And if you do have electronics though, that can cause problems. So having the security of the indoor smart lock along with the garage door keypad, and I also have a MyQ smart garage camera that's mounted to the bottom of my garage door opener. The opener itself is not smart, but I do use a hub that allows the garage door to be controlled remotely, and also that's what enables it to work with the in-garage delivery. Using those type of components is just one aspect of security. You can do front door locks that are smart. You can do handles, you can do deadbolts, or both. So I mean, there's a lot of different options there. So again, do some research and kind of decide what's going to work best for you. The other aspect is actual security systems, and there's companies out there like SimpliSafe and Vivint that have whole home security systems with monitoring and whatnot. So those are things you want to take a look at if you're interested in getting whole home security. At one time, Google had a security system, but they have since, as in true Google fashion, disbanded that product and it's no longer available. There's plenty of other options, and I know like ADT, they have some smart equipment that they now integrate into their home security, so that's something to look at as well. Again, I'll put what links I have in the description so you can go take a look and kind of decide for yourself maybe what might work best for you. One other aspect is smart hubs. So number 4 on our list is going to be smart hubs, and really the hub is not only a way for you to see what's happening, but it's a way for you to control what's happening. So I have several smart hubs. I have 2 of them that are the Google Hub Max, so they're the large ones. And on those 2 devices, we actually do a lot of video calls with our children and grandchildren that live up in Wisconsin. And so it's a huge convenience. And it's really great to be able to have that kind of functionality just sitting on the counter, and you can use it anytime you want. The nice thing about the Google Hub Max is it's got a little switch on the back of the camera that allows you to physically turn the camera off if you don't want to use the camera. So it kind of adds some privacy to where you can make sure the camera's not, just coming on random times and somebody's watching you. They also have a smaller Google Hub that doesn't have a camera on it, but it does allow you to control like your smart home devices, like your lights and locks. And it also, both of those, the Google Home Hub Max and the smaller regular hub, will show you, like if someone does ring your doorbell, it'll display who's at the front door on those smart devices. I actually don't think that Google makes the Google Hub Max anymore. They have since transitioned to the Google Pixel tablet, and the tablet now has a docking base station, which allows you to set it on your counter and use it like the old Hub Max. It has camera. It's got a much better screen. It's way more functional than just having the Google Hub on the counter, because you can't really move that around. Whereas the tablet, you can take it off the base and you can walk around the house, so you can do your video call and not actually be standing in one spot. And of course, it has full capabilities as far as controlling all of your smart home components. That's probably something that I think if I were to buy another hub, I would get the tablet. But right now, I don't really need one. I have 2 of the Maxes and several of these little ones sitting around, so they work great. I know that obviously you can use Alexa. They have their own Alexa devices that are hubs, and they give you the same type of device control and camera monitoring and things like that. I don't really know what's available for the Apple side of things. I'm sure a lot of these devices can be used with Apple HomeKit, but I have no Apple products. I don't use the Apple ecosystem. So if that's something that you're interested in, I can put links to like others who use the HomeKit, that's all that they do is HomeKit, and they have some great tutorials on how to set up your home. So I can definitely link you to that for sure. But if you use Alexa or Google Home, all these devices work fantastic, and they have their own hubs as far as the Google and the Alexa go. And number 5, the last of my top 5, is entertainment. And there are so many options now for entertainment devices. There's smart TVs. I currently in my home have 2 smart Samsung televisions, and I can control the TV through my SmartThings app. It's fantastic. And again, it tells me like I have a dishwasher and washer and dryer that are Samsung that are also smart. So when we're running the dishwasher, when the dishwasher finishes, not only will the dishwasher alert you, but it'll pop a message up on my television and my phone that the dishwasher is done. So where that's actually most helpful is when you're doing clothes. So, we don't want our clothes to sit in the washer when they're done or sit in the dryer to get wrinkled. So anytime one of those finishes, it pops a message up on the TV and our phone, say, hey, your wash is done or your dryer is done. And that way we don't necessarily have to be like paying attention. We can go about our day or do whatever we need to do. And then when we get the alert, we know that we need to go take care of the clothes. So it's just about convenience. Now, that's not really entertainment. It's not entertainment for me. Maybe you're entertained doing laundry, but I am not. But with the TVs, though, that's kind of goes along with that. And they just add a huge amount of value, in my opinion, to a smart home. The other side of that is smart lighting with the Philips Hue Sync Box. And I know Govee has their own sync box as well. So where this comes into play is when you have a sync box and you have like smart lights on the back of your television or around your television, you can synchronize the image from the television to have the lights match the image. And it's really fantastic. I absolutely love it. I don't watch any program without going through my sync box, because I think to me it just adds that extra dimension that you didn't even know you were missing until you have it. You're like, wow, this is fantastic. Even the news, football games. But obviously the biggest advantage is when you're watching movies, and you get some of these movies these days that have colors just popping like crazy. And I have a Philips Hue gradient light strip that goes around the top and the sides, because at the time they didn't have anything for the bottom. But what I did on the bottom is I have 4 Philips Hue play bars. And so I have all 4 play bars and the gradient light strip synchronized with a entertainment area, my Philips Hue Sync Box environment. It's actually something you create, it's software. And you design and designate these entertainment areas as to what lights are a part of it. So then as a movie's playing, the signal comes in, goes through the sync box. The sync box reads the information, then sends that information to the lights to match the screen image. So it just synchronizes all of those colors, and it looks fantastic. I'll put some examples in the video so you can see kind of what it looks like. It's kind of hard to maybe tell without actually seeing it in person as far as the true benefit or value, but to me, it just adds a whole new level, a whole new dimension of watching movies, especially at night. Like if you have lights off, you're watching this really amazing movie, like a Marvel movie or something. You have surround sound going. It just adds a whole new dimension to movie watching. Personally, I'd rather do that than go to a movie theater, honestly. It just adds that much value. I know, again, Philips Hue has their sync box and Govee has a sync box. There might be another company out there that has a similar type device. I'm not really sure about that. I think the whole sync box light show side of things is fairly new. And so there's not a lot of people that are manufacturing those. But really, in my opinion, the Philips Hue is probably one of the best. The only downside to it is it does not support HDMI 2.1. So if you have a TV that's capable of 120 hertz and some of the higher end video capabilities, the sync box can't transmit that much data. It's I think it supports 2.0B, which does have higher bandwidth, but it's still not quite the 2.1 that you need for like 8K and things like that. It is 4K at 60 frames per second, but it has some limitations. But of course, most of the time, you're not going to notice it. If you're really paying attention, you're like, oh, this isn't quite as high end as I want it, but most of the time you're not going to notice it. They are coming out with a new sync box. I don't know when. I've read about it. I've watched some Philips Hue promotional videos on it that support 8K, which means it's got to support HDMI 2.1. You have to have some pretty high bandwidth to transmit an 8K signal, but that's not out yet. So hopefully that will be out soon, and I guarantee you as soon as that gets released, I'm going to be upgrading. So, because it's pretty awesome. With the higher bandwidth, something I just thought about is like if you are a gamer, like with a PS5, for example. I play Modern Warfare 3 on my PS5, and I don't run that through the sync box because the game console and the game itself are capable of doing 120 hertz and some high-end video signal that the sync box can't decipher. It can't send that data properly to the television, so I'm not able to use those high-end features without going straight from the PS5 to the TV. So I have that going straight to the television just simply for that fact, because it does give me a better gaming experience. And when I'm gaming, I'm not so much paying attention to the lighting as the screen, because I'm just not that great. But it's a lot of fun. I just enjoy it, do it for fun. That's all it is. But that's it. Those are my top 5 things. And again, all the links for products and whatnot's going to be in description. I will link to some information for people if you want to do HomeKit. I don't really have a lot of data on that because I don't do any Apple products at all. But I will link to others who do, and they have a huge amount of information for you to watch and read up on. So whether you're looking to boost convenience, security, or you just want to have some fun, these are what I would consider to be the top 5 gadgets going into 2024. The number of devices is only going to grow. The number of manufacturers manufacturing them is only going to grow. Just make sure that the product, is a quality product. It fits your needs, meets your budget, and buy it. You won't regret it. It just adds a huge amount of value, in my opinion. And it's going to elevate your living space like you've never had before. That's one of the huge benefits of smart home, is convenience and elevating your living experience. So again, all the links are going to be in the description. If you have any questions, comments, you want some information, you want to see me cover something else, please hit me up in the comments section. And if you want to add some convenience to your cleaning routine, I highly suggest you go take a look at this video about the new SwitchBot K10 Plus Mini Vacuum.